Hello guys, and welcome to another episode of Is It Worth It, the series where I share my review and my opinion on different video games that I've experienced. Today, however, I'm not gonna refer to a new game, but instead, I'm gonna talk about the DLC expansion of Final Fantasy VII Remake. The DLC is under the title Intermission, but everybody's calling it the Yuffie DLC, as the episode protagonist is none other than the young Wutanian ninja and materia thief Yuffie. If you ever played the original Final Fantasy VII, you know that Yuffie is not yet to meet with the group, as her introduction happens way later when she ambushes the party. Yuffie as a character almost got scratched off in the original game, but the developers decided to keep her and another character known as Vincent Valentine inside the game and make them completely optional. Since then, SquareEnix decided to develop Yuffie more in many of the compilation games such as Crisis Core, Dirge of Cerberus, and Advent Children. Seeing how the remake is trying to make the ultimate Final Fantasy VII experience, Nomura, the character designer and the director of the project, found the perfect opportunity to give Yuffie a full-on development. He also wanted this DLC to be the in-between on Final Fantasy Remake Part 1 and Part 2. On to the DLC. The story of the expansion takes place during the events of the first one. This is a fantastic way to keep the players in the loop of when certain events occur. For example, the first time we meet Yuffie, she's outside of the Sector 7 and makes her way in. The area that Yuffie starts is the area where Cloud could not reach in the remake, so it's a nice way to expand the Midquard as well. When Yuffie reaches the Sector 7 slums, we immediately see the Avalanche trio of Wes, Jesse and Biggs discussing about how Cloud, Barret and Tifa are not yet back. This means that when Yuffie arrived, the gang already met up with Biggs and proceeded to the reactor while Biggs made his way back to slums. After a few missions, we witness Barret and Tifa returning, which once again gives us a perspective of time and at the same time shows us how these characters reacted after their separation from Cloud. Proceeding with Yuffie's story, she comes across Don Corneo's girls regroupers, and after certain events, we get to learn how Tifa volunteered to get captured for the events of the remake. That's the last time the two games interconnect, as Yuffie and Shonon, her teammate, leave for their own adventures and head over to Shinra, while the remake should have still been at the Aerith, Cloud and Tifa adventure. Near the end of the DLC, as shown by the trailer, the DLC proceeds to give us the timestamp as Shinra decides to throw the plate on top of the Sector 7. The screen then fades to black and we are greeted with another CGI cutscene where we see the aftermath of the remake, which I won't be spoiling. Honestly, my thoughts on the story are mixed. When I think about it, the story is perfect in the sense of this is what Yuffie has been doing and how she got to know the main squad. This was never shown in the original and was something that Nomura wanted to do in a natural way. We've seen the fall of Wutai from Zack's story in Crisis Core when Yuffie was still a child, and now we get to see her when she has grown a bit. My one problem with the story is something that concerns me with the overall remake project. Spoilers ahead, so if you don't want to be spoiled, skip a bit forward. Yuffie in the trailer was seen with a dude, Sonon, and we know that Yuffie's alone when she meets the gang. In the trailer, she seems to be on her knees, crying, with blood on her cheeks. Do you see where I'm going with it? And sure, we all know how certain events will play, but given a certain time, it will still have an impact. The best example is Jessie. Little to none care about her death in the 1997 games, but the remake wrote her so damn good that her death was met with tears. Since the DLC is not a full-on 40 hours adventure, some things that should have felt impactful just happens. You still feel something, but not as much. The cinematography, audio and acting were good, but we know little to none about these two characters. So once again, the impact wasn't there. The gameplay of the DLC is absolutely fantastic. Honestly, SquareEnix managed to make Yuffie my absolute favorite to use as of now. Yuffie carries a giant shuriken star, which she can use in close and in-range combat. She can throw the shuriken with triangle, and when pressed again, she teleports to it and starts to combo. It's very similar to how Prince Noctis from Final Fantasy XV attacks and how Sora from Kingdom Hearts approaches enemies. The best part is Yuffie can do multiple combos mid-air and she can throw the enemy down to proceed with land combos and square mash. However, the most impressive addition to Yuffie's arsenal is her ninjutsu skills. Yuffie, unlike any of the previous 4 characters, can cast every single elemental attack without the use of materia and MP. You can spend 180 B-bar to cast the ninjutsu of the preferred element and you can constantly use it to the enemy. To do that, you first have to throw your shuriken with triangle and then just mash square. Same with the original, mastering weapons give Yuffie extra techniques to use as well as various materia. Shonon, Yuffie's ally, is always controlled by an AI. However, the player can control his abilities and MP, as well as customizing his weapons, gears and skills. When both heroes have at least one ATB bar, pressing L2 will result in synchron combination attacks, where both Yuffie and Shannon team up and release various attacks that deals a lot of damage. On top of that, using certain individual skills, while in sync, will have the other hero combine his own skill set to it. Last but not least, if Yuffie falls in combat, Shannon will transfer his remaining HP to the player and he'll die instead. Outside of the story and Yuffie's gameplay, the episode makes a huge deal out of a game called Fort Condor. This is a game similar to Crash Royale, where there are 3 Phoenix that you have to send your army to take down. It's a nice small mini-game that once you get to know how it works, it's fun. You place your troops and they will always walk onwards. One good detail about the figures is that they are all avatars from the original polygon Final Fantasy VII. The rules are simple. You spend a TB bar that fills on their own to summon figures. The cost of each figure is on top left. Each figure has a color type, blue, red and green. Blue defeats red, red defeats green, and green defeats blue. However, it's not as simple as each figure has HP, damage and attack type. For example, a green figure may not be able to kill a blue if the blue one is flying type, whilst the green one doesn't have a flying attack. You can collect figures from the shops, vending machines and defeating other players. Fort Condor is a side quest alongside Turtles posters in the first part of the DLC. Last but not least, the DLC has 2 more optional minigames that require you to whack various boxes within certain time. I should also mention the new materia Ramuth, and of course that Waze is unlocked as a boss fight for the actual remake in chapter 17. And he's OP AF. To sum up, this DLC is really good. I should mention that it's only for the PS5 version of the game, and as of now, it's a PS5 time exclusive. If you bought the game for the PS4, this is no problem, as SquareEnix released a free upgrade from the PlayStation 4 version to the PS5. However, if you had the last May's PS Plus version of the game, you won't be able to get the upgrade. The episode for me lasted around 5 hours, and it consists of 2 chapters. Cinematography, music and gameplay are once again top tier, and I'm personally happy to see what we should be expecting. Remember, Nomura said this is a way to show what to expect in the future of Final Fantasy Remake Part 2. For me, this means faster combat, synchronized attacks, and actual blood in the game. This is getting me really excited, and I'm not gonna even talk about the story. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. Tell me in the comments below what are your thoughts on the DLC and the remake project in general. What you liked, what you didn't like, and what you're looking forward the most. Till then, take care, and I'll see you all in the next one. See ya!